Hello, mums and dads. Quick question for you. Why do you think reading aloud to our children matters? I'm Kathleen Pelly. Welcome to this bonus episode of Journey with Story, geared especially for grown-ups, mums, dads, grandparents and teachers. So I'm sure many of you suggested such reading aloud benefits as offers an education alternative to screen time, improves listening skills, expands vocabulary, which, by the way, in turn helps children express themselves more easily with new words and phrases, nurtures creativity, strengthens concentration skills, and strengthens the bond between a parent and a child. Also, in Mem Fox's book, which we'll talk about in a minute, she mentions that reading aloud also sharpens children's brains and, listen to this, it serves as an inoculation against illiteracy. Don't you just love that? An inoculation against illiteracy. How marvellous. And of course, all of these must surely also boost reading skills and school grades, right? But there are actually other benefits to this whole reading aloud thing. That author I was talking about, Mem Fox, she's an Australian author and she's also a world-renowned literacy expert. Well, she wrote a great book called Reading Magic, How Reading Aloud to Our Children Will Change Their Lives Forever. And in this book, she explains that reading aloud cures pretty much everything from warts to global warming. A lofty claim, you may say. Surely we need more pondering and pontificating to cure our worldly woes. Well, not really. Not if we acknowledge Seneca's words that links life and literature. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. None of us knows how long our lives will be, but we do know that it's this search for goodness that connects us to one another. We all want our children to go to good schools, have good teachers, get good grades, and ultimately live good lives and bring more goodness into this world. And so, of course, we want to give them good stories. When we read aloud to children, good books, great books, we are actually feeding their hearts and souls with goodness. Goodness they'll need to face the dark days and troubled times. Goodness that they'll need to become our future leaders and heroes. Goodness that will indeed change their lives forever. But what exactly does this goodness look like in our stories? What does it consist of? Well, after more than 20 years of reading aloud at a low-income school here in America to children from kindergarten through 8th grade, and after a lifetime, really, of savouring good children's stories that stir my soul and make my heart sing, here are some of the lifelong gifts I believe we bestow on our children when we read aloud to them good books, great stories, or as a complement to that, when we let them listen to such stories on a podcast such as mine or other podcasts. Good stories feed us love. Not the sappy, soppy stuff of Hollywood, no. The sacrificial love that every mum and dad knows when you stay up all night after your wee one has an earache, or when you rouse yourself from bed at 6 a.m. for yet another swim meet. Good stories reveal characters who love like that, like a little spider called Charlotte, who lays down her very life for her friend Wilbur. Good stories feed us wonder, the wonder of language, the wonder of nature, the wonder of human nature, and the wonder that author Catherine Patterson talks about, the wonder behind and beyond the story that ties us to the mystery and the meaning of our lives. Good stories feed us a sense of all wellness. If you've been listening to my bonus episodes for your little ones these last few weeks, you'll notice I end with these wise words from a medieval mystic, Julian of Norwich, who said, all will be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Is that a Pollyanna disregard for the sadnesses in our lives? No, I don't think so. I think it's a stalwart belief in what all good stories, whether The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Harry Potter, Cinderella, or Goodnight Moon, all these good stories tell us that despite the madness and the sadness, that in the end, good will triumph. It's what G.K. Chesterton meant when he said fairy tales don't tell children that dragons exist. Children already know that dragons exist. Fairy tales tell children dragons can be tamed. And that leads us to our next gift of reading aloud, courage. You may know that the French word for heart is la coeur, and that's where we get the word courage. So when we read aloud to children, we're actually feeding their hearts, making their hearts bigger and better and bolder. And when our hearts are bigger and better and bolder, then that leads us into our next gift, which is hope. Good stories can help children hope. John Shea, a marvellous storyteller, said, "One tells a story not to educate or indoctrinate, but to illuminate, to enchant the readers into the world of the story in the hope that when they emerge from the story, they do so with an enhanced view of the possibilities of their lives." Isn't that a wonderful description? They emerge from the story with an enhanced view of the possibilities of their lives. A perfect description of hope. So, the next time you pick up a picture book or go to your library to choose some bedtime stories for your little ones, or if you sit down and listen to some of the stories on my podcast, remember you are feeding your little ones heart and soul with goodness. And what can be better than that? For now, thanks to all of you for letting me share my love of stories with your little ones. In these discombobulating times, I hope you find some sliver of solace, some crumb of comfort, or some jolt of joy as you read aloud to your children and as you enjoy listening to the stories on my podcast. Don't forget, you can now follow me on Instagram at Journey with Story for even more daily inspiration and fun quotes from your favourite stories. You can also send me pictures your child has drawn, request a birthday shout out for your child, or request a special kind of story that maybe tickles your little one's fancy. Cheerio then, until our next episode of Journey with Story.